I would like to welcome all of you to this living teaching of Advaita. If you are online and would like to ask a question or make a comment, then instructions on how to raise your hand electronically can be found in the chat window. Yes, Anastasia.
Good morning. Hey. There is a certain tension of a question to be born. So I've been listening to your satsangs, interviews, and what I heard that you said that your teaching is not about getting new knowledge, new experiences, but it's rather about seeing what it is. I don't know, I'm trying. Yeah, but I see that there is a mistake even in that. It's not a kind of mistake, but it's not about even trying. But still seeing what it is it still a subtle like object, subject? Or it's like a collapse of this structure of even this trying to see what it is?
No, it is an inclusion of the structure. So the trying to see what it is understood to be part of what is.
Okay. Yeah, it's even prior than this. Yeah. Oh my God. But I see like my attention is like, instead of focusing on something, it's going like wide. It's like unfocused.
Yes.
And it includes everything, like, I mean, I just like, I was able to observe this movement of attention from a particular thing, just like, okay, like, even if when I speak, I can hear this voice, but it's just part of what is. Oh my God. It's simple, but yet it's like, it's impossible to grasp by mind. I don't know. Because even this, attempt to grasp is a part of it. See? Yeah, and just tension just like dies down. Yeah. Yeah, there is like, I want to say that I'm getting to it, but it's not like this.
I'm sorry. It's like what?
It's just like, there is like, there is a desire to say that I'm getting to it, like
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
I'm started to understand it, but it's like, but it's just like a movement.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, Stanislav.
Спросить. Меня тут посещают разные мысли. Я хотел как бы спросить, правильно ли я понимаю. Я тут недавно подумал, что мы говорим про сознание с маленькой буквы и с большой буквы, и тем самым как бы разделяем разные вещи. Но на самом деле же нет каких-то двух сознаний. То
That
есть
is
мое,
correct. That is why we use the same word.
и дальше я подумал, что э, это похоже на то, что ну вот сознание создает как бы этот мир какой-то или картинку этого мира, и этого маленького человечка в нем, и входит в этого человечка, у которого появляется маленькое сознание, которое как бы освещает какой-то ореол вокруг него. И так создается вот это ощущение проживания жизни в каком-то пространственно-временном континууме, когда поочередно для этого маленького человечка открываются какие-то части этой общей картины.
That happens sometimes, yeah.
Хотел сказать, что просто это как-то была какая-то важная мысль, что мое сознание как бы есть это сознание. Но сейчас, когда я смотрю, как вы улыбаетесь, это все тоже куда-то уходит.
Yes, Brendan.
Good morning. Glad I'm getting the opportunity to speak with you. I've been watching your songs for quite some time now, but I'm been having a little bit of a rough time lately. I mean, I've spent the last 10 years, experimenting with different spiritual practices, doing a lot of reading, and it's been it's been a disappointing experience, and I think I first encountered the um, Advaita teachings probably a little over 10 years ago. And, it was said by some of the teachers I was watching, maybe you'll need to do some spiritual practices before you're ready to accept this sort of truth. And, I thought that was me. And I mean, I feel like I'm at a sort of place right now where I'm just sort of fed up with um, trying to fit into spiritual communities, trying to seek approval from teachers, but at the same time, I'm having trouble trusting this fundamental insight that I just there's nowhere to go, and so it's been a little bit of a distressing thing lately, and I don't really know what to do with that, because I don't feel like I'm still having trouble trusting that, so I was just interested to hear what you had to say about that.
You're having trouble trusting what exactly, Brendan? Well, you're having trouble trusting what?
Sorry about that. And trusting that there's nowhere to go, that I am, I'm not the person. I am not the person who believes that they need to do something in order to realize my true nature. And I feel like, at least I feel like throughout my life, I've had pretty profound experiences from that, but, it seems to come and go and come and go. And, I think I found that frustrating. So that's why I tried to tether myself to a practice, and it's just been, it's been a little bit of a bummer.
Well, you're here, and at least here, we're not asking you to trust anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Because what I'm suggesting is that what I'm saying is not the truth, and what you have read and heard from others is not the truth per se. And so there's no basis on which to trust it or distrust it. The pointers not being the truth then take on a kind of a different dimension. And so these assertions that you are not the doer, or you are not the one who is somebody, or all of these kinds of pointers are recognized as being simply facilitators at best, confusing and obstructive at worst, but they're just like kind of here, and you're wandering around in a world, this world full of those. So you're going to bump into them. Some of them are going to stick to you for a while, and then they'll wash off. And I mean, that's just kind of the nature of your life so far, from what I have hearing you say. So that brings us here to this living teaching of Advaita, because that's all I got. I got, and so the fundamental pointer is the only thing you have to do in this teaching. The only requirement is that you breathe. So that's your big task for today, and for as long as you're associated with the teaching, is absolutely do not neglect breathing, because this is the basis on which all of this is built. So breathe. After that, we'll see what happens. Truly, if you're breathing, I guarantee, absolutely, no need to trust me on this, but I couldn't be more forcefully assertive about the fact that if you continue to breathe, shit's going to happen. And so but also we don't know what that is. We have ideas based on our past experiences, and in which we frame our existence and frame our vision of the future, but we really don't know, any of us, and what's going to happen next. That creates some space for you to be, as you are in this moment, Brendan, with your stuff, with your difficulties, with your pleasures, with your knowledge, with your energies, all of those things. Right here, this is what's happening. And that's what this living teaching is pointing you to. From this point, we'll see where it takes you. But you're certainly welcome here.
Thank you. I think I can manage to breathe today.
We'll see. This is a real open question, Brendan. There's a lot of people right now with plans and dinner reservations and plane tickets, and they're not going to make any of those because an embolism is on its way to their brain right this instant. Somebody somewhere is having that experience. So we don't know whether we're going to be one of those. So all we can really say is what right now I'm breathing. And then that may or may not, but it may raise the interesting question, what is responsible for this breathing that's happening? And that opens up a whole line of inquiry that can get kind of interesting.
Thank you so much, Wayne.
You're very welcome, Brent. Yes.
I had a thought that's in some ways the flip side of the coin, of Brendan's coin. And that's that, I mean, I too have been on a winding path that has overloaded me with pointers at times and practices and things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of left me, as I think it leaves many spiritual seekers, with an idea that there are all these preconditions and requirements and practices that must be accomplished and done correctly, and I'm just not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, the feeling has been that this is happening despite all of my meddling, despite everything that I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
This is happening,
Right.
and it's amazing, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful for that.
Uh-huh. The one word I would add to that is that it is happening, including those.
Yes,
all
that too. When you were talking to Anastasia,
Yeah.
that light shined on it as well.
Uh-huh.
And not only despite,
Right.
but all of the fumbling around at the Brastraps of the universe in the dark
Mhm.
is also a part of it. Yeah.
As a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 It's so good to be here, and I'm so thankful for it all.
I love that image, by the way, as a one-time teenage male.
Yeah.
That image of fumbling around with the bra straps of the universe is absolutely right on. Yeah. Brings me back to being a teenager, a young teenager, wondering what's going on here, you know, that very kind of basic, fundamental. I know there's something here, but I don't know how what's going on or how to get there or what it's just a bizarre mystery. And there must be an answer. It's got to be an answer. So yes, excellent.
What's your next book title?
Yeah, fumbling with the bra straps of the universe. Yes, Jane. Would you like translation or going to try it on English?
Yes, today I would like to ask Maria to translate my question.
Absolutely.
Здравствуйте, Мария. Когда я еще училась в школе, у меня появился вот этот импульс и поиск. И так интересно вся моя жизнь, она была сосредоточена именно на этой энергии, на какой-то. Внутри меня было понимание, что все не так, как здесь вот происходит. То есть это я взыскивала внутри себя либо мастера, либо кого-то, кто мог бы показать мне какой-то другой способ жить. И когда начали происходить какие-то первые опыты, я ощутила такую легкость и естественность, что ну, просто это естественно жить каким-то другим образом. И когда эти опыты закрывались, и я снова оставалась наедине с этим неестественным для себя образом жизни, это стало такой большой растяжкой, как будто столкнулись два мира внутри меня. И вот у меня такой вопрос, если для меня более естественно жить иначе, почему, не знаю, мое сознание продолжает и выбирает именно вот такой путь разделения, такой путь какого-то страдания, видения этого мира разделенным. Может быть, есть какой-то ответ.
Maybe there is, Jane. And if you meet God, you should ask, God, why do it this way? I want it, I think, humbly speaking, of course, I think that it should be a different way. It doesn't make any sense to me to do it this way. And maybe God can explain why it's that way. But I can't explain why the world is this way. I can't explain why there is suffering. I can't explain why there is this false sense of being independent in the first place. All I can do is point to the fact that it happens, that it's here. And this is a revelation to some people. But I don't have any answers for you, Jane, as to why the universe looks this way. Or why Jane's experience is this way and somebody else's is different.
Я, наверное, не понимаю, как одновременно может быть такое сильное желание более распахнутого варианта проживания и одновременно зачем-то проживание, ну, вот этой замкнутости, какого-то страдания. И среди этих двух моментов как будто происходит вот какое-то распятие меня. Я не знаю, как иначе объяснить это состояние.
I mean, what you're just expressing is the misery of the seeker. This is the misery, what we talk when we say, use the term, the misery of the seeker is this.
И что говорит литература про этого ищущего?
It depends on the book. Depends on the book. The books that sell really well are the ones with really clever. No, you're in the wrong, Maria. The books that sell really well are the ones with really clever answers to what you can do to make this go away, to gain control so that you have more of what you want and less of what you don't want. There's lots of those.
Из тех книг, что я читала, многие описывают этот опыт как какой-то настолько прекрасный, ясный, простой и легкий, что я не могу никаким образом, ну, как скоррелировать, совместить это с собой. И какое-то время я испытывала такое состояние, что, ну, что-то неправильно, может быть, я сделала или делаю, что у меня это происходит вообще иначе, что этот ищущий как-то легко растворяется в какой-то божественной радуге, но я не могу сказать даже близко, что у меня такой опыт.
So you can read St. John of the Cross, if you like Christian stuff. There, he talks about the dark night of the soul. This what he's describing is what you're talking about. The dark night of the soul, this feeling of being abandoned by God, of being left out of the truth, of not being connected. This is that intense misery of the seeker. And that's very much that's a reality. That happens. So it is extraordinarily difficult and painful, but you are not doing anything wrong. It isn't that you somehow have made a mistake and thus this is your punishment. And that if you just get it right, then you will be reprieved. It doesn't work that way, as far as I'm concerned. So again, we come back to the difference between pain and suffering. This feeling of not being connected, disconnection, of being isolated and apart is painful. There's no question. It is painful. But when it is accompanied by the sense that I am somehow responsible for this, and that it is up to me to get it right so that it goes away, that's suffering. And there is a huge difference between pain and suffering.
Наверное, я так много спрашиваю у вас о бессилии, именно потому, что понимаю, что ни один путь меня никуда не привел. За эти 20 лет было много путей, но они все безрезультатны. Я не могу сказать, что они каким-то образом бессмысленны или... Но мне кажется, что как нету этого моста, нету гарантированной практики, которую я бы могла сказать, вот ее надо делать, и точно будет результат.
If there was such a practice where you did the practice and it was a guaranteed result, you would have heard about it a long time ago. You would have done it. It would have been all over. Everybody here in this Zoom meeting would have done it. It'd be over.
Да, мне кажется, я просто 20 лет развлекаю себя какими-то новыми практиками.
That's one way of explaining it. All we can really say, Jane, is that this is what has happened for the last 20 years. This has been Jane's experience. This is what Jane has done. This we can say. Now, what propelled this is really what we're looking at in this teaching. Was Jane in driving the bus? Or was somebody else driving the bus and you're a passenger on this bus, so to speak, in which these 20 years and all of these places have been visited and things done? That's the question.
Похоже, ему очень нравится путешествовать.
So the fact is that you have had to be on this bus to get here because the bus came here. So in order for you to be here, you had to be on the bus.
Просто мне казалось, что автобус должен быть как-то повеселее, не такой грустный автобус.
So you got on the wrong bus. You're an idiot, Jane. You should have gotten on the Happy Rainbow bus and you got on this bus. It's all your fault for getting on the wrong bus. Does that sound right?
Да.
Yeah, okay.
И я уже не знаю, где мне сойти с этого автобуса.
We'll see where it stops. Jane. None of us know.
Спасибо. Я услышала это чувство вины, что это я виновата в чем-то, что это проходит так болезненно, а не как-то легко, в легкости, в каких-то волшебных, божественных переживаниях и состояниях. Да, а просто, ну, возможно, да, такой опыт, возможно, это просто в моем случае должно быть так.
Yes, Kate.
Hello, Wayne. I have a question. I have an experience of like seeing one thing on today, and I forget that I have had a webinar to attend at night, which starts at 2 a.m. and finished at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I felt like headache and I have to sleep, and I ruined all my plans for this day, and I just found myself in this that I can't control it. I thought I will be doing one thing, and I find myself with headache and all day ruined just because I forgot when this webinar should be.
Mhm.
Mm. And I was observing it, and something was telling me like, you see, like how much you control. You thought you will be in one place, in one shape, doing one things, and you're lying here with headache and have to cancel everything and feeling like very bad.
Right.
So I was trying to accept this helplessness, but there's
What do you mean trying to accept it?
that it's right, that it's the way things are.
But it is the way things are. You already said that that's how it is.
It happened like that, but it's rare with me. Then when it happened like that, usually I'm on time. I do my responsible, and
Yes.
so I felt like a failure. Yeah. I
Yes. Well, if you're going to take credit for doing things right, then you're going to have to take the blame for doing them wrong.
Sure, and I'm first to blame myself.
Yes. And obviously the first to take credit also.
And I was in that state of helplessness, and I was trying to accept it. And I felt like if I will accept it, like there's a huge fear there, like I will be homeless, I will be like nobody, if I will leave control.
Yes. That is the claim of this false sense of authorship, that I am the one who is protecting
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
And that if I, as the author, the universe isn't going to protect me, the universe is impersonal. If I want good stuff for me,
Mm.
then I'm going to have to get it.
Yeah.
I'm responsible. Otherwise,
Usually it like this. All the time it like this. Almost.
yeah, that is the claim of the sense of authorship. And that's what we're looking at in this teaching. Saying, is this actually true? That's the claim. It feels true. But is it true? And one way that you might be able to get a glimpse into it, I mean, you had a glimpse into it this morning when you saw that even though you
Yeah.
claimed to be in control,
Mm.
you weren't. Now, if something good happens as a result, that's where it gets really interesting. In other words, if we have this conversation, and we have this conversation today because that your other plans got canceled because you
Yeah.
screwed up last night and attended the webinar and blah, 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 blah. And that enabled you to be here to have this conversation. And that conversation resulted in a deep and enduring insight. Then you would have a very interesting problem on your hands. Because what you're saying is that I, in order for good things to happen, have to be in control. But
Yeah.
if I had been in control, I wouldn't have gotten that good thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you may have noticed, if you look in your life previously, that out of some of the worst things that you say
Yeah.
were horrible in my life, out of those ashes rose some of the best things of your life. And if you had truly been in control, you would have never allowed that situation to happen, out of
Sure.
which this great benefit came. Now, everybody's life is different, but almost everyone can look and see incidences in their life of this happening. And the implications of that are great.
To my higher self or whatever I need to do.
Still telling the universe what the fuck to do.
But then I again
Okay.
live from this cage, from this ego, from this pain, from this
No, you're not released from the pain. That is the ego saying, I'm going to let go. I'm going to let the universe function. Look what a good job I'm doing of staying out of the way.
But
It's still there. It's just more subtle.
how to get out of it? You see, it's just two opposite, but they same.
Try harder, Kate.
I will just get tired. That's all. I'm already very tired to my higher self.
I'm
Everything.
sorry, I didn't get that, Kate.
So everything is this failed sense of authorship when it says, I'm in charge, you go by the plan, or you will be on the street. Or when it says, I surrender to my higher self, whatever, wherever God leads me. Although I don't know if it's God, maybe it's demon whispering in my ears, some stupid stuff. I don't know. I have no ways to judge. Most of them are fails.
They are claims by the sense of authorship that I am making it happen.
So surrendering to higher self is also a trap because it's I who said that surrender.
No, it can be claimed. All of whatever is happening can be claimed by the sense of authorship. It isn't necessarily. I mean, you go through your day and do all kinds of things without claiming authorship. You get up and you brush your teeth in the morning and you don't have the sense that I am making this happen. It's happening, but there's no sense of being responsible for it. And much of your activity through the day is like that. But there are always things that the false sense of authorship claims if the false sense of authorship is there. And those things are what ultimately result in suffering.
And how to get out of suffering.
Try harder.
I will just break my head if I will try harder. I am very stubborn.
Maybe not a great loss.
You're amazing. Thank you.
You're very well. Yes, Stanislav.
Мы в начале сатсанга говорили, ну, я вот говорил про сознание, все такое, и вы сказали, что да, так иногда происходит. А что значит иногда? А как происходит в других случаях?
I have no recollection of what the context was for that comment at all.
Я говорил про то, что сознание
Oh, no, let's not
создает...
resurrect it. That ship sailed. What is your current concern, Stanislav?
Наверное, я все пытаюсь создать какую-то целостную, непротиворечивую картину, а, которая бы все объясняла. А,
Well, if you come up with one, please let me know.
Вот постоянно что-то не сходится. Я думаю, что, видимо, поскольку для меня ум и такое моделирование — это какой-то основной, я по-прежнему пытаюсь с его помощью добиться какого-то результата.
Well, I promise you, you will get some sort of result.
Я при этом как будто чувствую, что как бы тот самый результат, он в любом случае, ну, не имеет отношения к моделям, которые можно создать в уме. Ну да, тогда, наверное, у меня такой же вопрос, как у Джейн. Какого хрена это происходит? Какого хрена я это делаю?
And my answer is the same. You're going to have to ask God.
Что-то накосячил.